Welcome to the biggest game of the year, the most anticipated shooter of all time. Yes, it's yet another Call of Duty. We're also going to be adding in the Battle Royale mode. You know, you usually wouldn't catch me here, on YouTube, at my channel, at youtube.com/kingofkazoos. Subscribe. You usually wouldn't catch me here at this hotspot talking about a new Call of Duty game, because personally, I haven't found myself interested in Call of Duty ever since the failure that was Modern Warfare 3. And that was all the way back in 2011 for God's sake. That's a whole 7 years since I found myself interested in a COD game. And to be honest with you, I thought I'd never see the day. I figured I was done with Call of Duty by now. In my youth, I tore up those public matches, I quickscoped all those scrubs in private lobbies, and now it was time for me to retire and hand up my boots. But then, Treyarch come in like, Kazooie, we're pulling you back into the game for good. And so I guess I'm in it for this one last job that is Black Ops 4. Now I've played the original Black Ops when it first came out. It offered a brand new take that explored the Cold War, which we hadn't really seen before in the series since a majority of it has always been based around World War II or Modern Warfare in general. But there have been 3 of them since then? It's been hard keeping track of what number they are.
You want the numbers, Mason. That's all we've ever wanted.
What the? That was weird. But yeah, we're finally on 4. Now, since I haven't experienced Black Ops 1 or 2, I had really no big expectations going into this. All I was hoping for was a fun game I could play without thinking, which they usually do deliver. Though, I wonder if the story will end up confusing me. Wait, what? There isn't a story mode? Are you serious? What the fuck? But the main thing I had been holding out for and what got me excited to try this game is the addition of Blackout. Hey, you turned off the lights! Blackout is Call of Duty's take on the Battle Royale genre, though I'm sure if you're watching this video you already knew that. I had imagined what if big games such as this suddenly jumped on the bandwagon and made a AAA version of the genre, and then not only COD but Battlefield are doing this exact thing as well, which I'm sure depending on their success may push other companies to do so. I was interested to see how COD's fast-paced run and gun mechanics would fare in a bigger map with more consequence on how you play. I didn't get to play the beta unfortunately because I wasn't really willing to pre-order this game and I didn't exactly get a code either. But I heard a lot of good things, some bad things, so honestly I wasn't sure what to expect. Although it seemed that more people were saying it's good than bad. And now the game's finally here so I can get my filthy, disgusting, rotten hands on it. Now keep in mind as I said, I haven't played a COD game in 7 years. So some of the stuff I talk about may or may not be new additions to the series, but I'm gonna comment on them regardless. Also, keep in mind that these are my first impressions. I may make a more in-depth video a few months down the line, depending if I have any ideas for it, but for now, this is just a simple review and my first opinions on the game. I'm not going to discuss the multiplayer or zombies aspects of this game because, well, we've already seen these 2 game modes time and time again. It's nothing new, and it's been talked about to death. I am much more interested in looking into this new fabled Battle Royale mode, as that's clearly the mode they've put the most energy into in terms of development and even advertising. So without further ado, let's look into Blackout. Now as I said earlier, this is basically the addition that convinced me to give Call of Duty one last chance. I've gone bored of the somewhat same game being sold to me time and time again. So, could Blackout be the thing that shakes up COD and turns it into a completely different game? Well, I think there is some truth in the fact that Blackout indeed is a total different game compared to the multiplayer or zombie game modes, though there are zombies in Blackout. But with the map being bigger than anything we've ever seen in a Call of Duty game, it's incredible to see that they have managed to pull this off. I may have laughed at them a bit when they first announced this, but I must admit, I look a massive fool. Whether you like it or not, I'll have to make comparisons to Fortnite here, just because this game is the king of battle royales, so it's always going to be compared with others in the genre without question. With a AAA company like Treyarch making their take on the genre Fortnite somewhat pioneered... What? Don't look at me like that, PUBG, come on. I want to see if Blackout can manage to compete with this game or perhaps even succeed it. It's highly possible. Call of Duty is one of the biggest franchises in the world after all. But without further ado, let's jump into the meat of this game mode. And jumping in is the perfect way to describe it because oh my god, never has getting into a game of a battle royale been so easy and painless than in Blackout. In PUBG and Fortnite, you'll have to wait around for ages, then wait for the plane or battle bus to fly to a point you can drop, then you can fall until you finally are allowed to deploy your parachute, and then you wait until you slowly descend to the ground. Just let me play the fucking game! But in Blackout, you join, wait a bit, jump out pretty much straight away, and you zoom down, and you're in the game, baby. It's so quick to just get you straight to the action that it really doesn't get me too frustrated when I die, because I know in my head that I'll be able to hop into another one within less than 2 minutes. Call of Duty have always been great at just getting you straight into the action, so I'm honestly not surprised they've managed to pull this off seamlessly, making it so you could crank out a ton of matches in just an hour. Looting was something I was really skeptical over. I was curious, but also just as worried to how Treyarch would handle the matter of implementing a looting system. Call of Duty has always been very simplified. 2 slots for a primary and secondary weapon, some grenades, and then you're basically done. So suddenly implementing a whole loot system is such a leap from any other past COD game. But I was pleasantly surprised to see that the looting system works brilliantly. You have 2 slots for weapons, a slot for perks that you can activate for a short period of time that give you different bonuses, healing items that get you out of tough situations, and even equipment items like the grappling hook. It's so beautiful. You simply just pick this stuff up without the hassle of reorganizing your inventory like in other Battle Royale games. In Fortnite you may have to rearrange your weapon layout to fit your needs, but in Blackout you could just grab it and boom, you just murdered a guy. That dude had a family, he needed to feed them, and you just killed him in cold blood. And you know what? You loved it! There is never going to be a point where you die because you're sorting out your loot, and that's exactly what you want from a game mode such as this. And on that same note, gun customization is extremely rich. You find an attachment, pick it up, and boom, it's already on your gun. These can range from different scopes or sights, different magazines, grips to help your aim, stocks to reduce your recoil, silencers to be sneaky peeky like. So you can really just customize your gun however you like. It's ideal in a Battle Royale game where you need to be comfortable with your equipment to manage pulling off a win. So the looting system being this fluid and easy to use is a big win for them in my books. They definitely exceeded my expectations and proved to me they can make more than linear multiplayer shooters. There's also a lot of other cool stuff going on. The map for a start seems to be a homage to Call of Duty in general. You have locations from various different maps such as Nuketown, which has actually been destroyed but also has these deep tunnels with a lot of loot inside them for you to grab. Then you have Asylum, yes, the one straight from World at War Zombies, which is a great idea. You go into this place with a chance of getting incredible loot and even a mystery box that could have a ray gun in it. Now, do I think giving a player the ultimate power, aka the ray gun, is a fair idea? Absolutely not. But considering you have to fight off a horde of zombies just for the chance of getting one, I think makes it a little more fair. There are also other locations that are just pretty cool, like the construction yard where you have shootouts on top of this huge high-rise style building, Hydro Dam where you may have to jump off it to make a safe getaway, the factory where you have to keep your senses sharp for enemies as you walk through this molten-filled building. The map just offers a lot of cool locations to duke it out, and at the end of the day, that's all you can really ask for. But it's not all great. On the opposite side of the spectrum, actually killing people can either be very satisfying or one of the most frustrating things ever. If someone has a decent level of armor, then it is one of the most annoying things to try and actually kill them. You could shoot these guys 1,000 times and they still won't die. Take this clip for example. I've sniped this guy a ton of times. In my mind, he should be dead by now. But he just keeps on eating my bullets like Kirby, so now I've nearly died and I have to run away. Is this really fair when I just gave that guy the world record for the most bullets lodged in his fat, stupid fucking cranium? I think this all just comes down to solely body armor. The balancing for this stuff is just so off, and it really ruins the feeling of Call of Duty when you shoot a guy 100 times just for him to still be alive. Typically, people would die in COD within like a single spray, so this body armor just betrays the feeling of the game. It's either that or body armor in general just needs a big nerf. Now, you may be saying, you're just bad at the game because you can't win. And while yes, you are right, I'm honestly pretty horrible at the game, but then one match, I finally get level 3 body armor for the first time and a pretty good sniper, and bam, I win the game with 8 kills. Now, maybe I'm just actually a secret MLG pro in the making, or the more logical reasoning behind this is that level 3 armor makes you way too OP. Nerf this shit, boys! Now that's more of an objective point, but the more subjective one that I find frustrating is the lack of information they give players. I have no idea about any of this stuff. After skipping out on COD for so long, I know nothing about these weapons. Let me explain what I mean. You have 2 guns, pretty good so far, so you continue looting and find yet another gun. Now, You have literally no idea if this gun is going to be better than the other two you currently have. Does it even matter? Are the weapons balanced in a way so that it's more based on preference like in PUBG? I find that hard to believe personally. But when a newish player like myself knows nothing about these weapons, they all just feel and look the same to me. I just have to go with my gut feeling on which weapons will service me better, but I think a system like Fortnite's would benefit Blackout a lot. Giving powerful guns a gold color, common ones grey, rare ones purple, you get the idea. I don't think it would look too far-fetched for Call of Duty's tone and theme, and it would make it so much easier for less experienced players such as myself to get an understanding of what guns are good and what ones aren't. The same could be said for perks in the game. Now, of course, I know what Iron Lunds does, I know what Dead Silent does, I've played enough COD games to know that, but there's a lot of perks that I have no idea what they do. They give no information on what stats they bring or what their purpose is. I think it would be good if when you hovered on an item for an extended period of time, then a little box of information could appear to explain what the perk or item actually does and what it is. It would help in deciding if one is worth picking up or not, but as of now I have no idea and it just feels like a dice roll using any of these items. I would love to see more features implemented to help dribbling freak mongoloids such as myself in the future, but for now I'll just have to rely on my big fat gut. But despite these problems, Blackout is still incredibly fun. It's fun to have these shootouts even with the somewhat absorbing bullets because Call of Duty's guns are always satisfying to use as they feel and sound great. The vehicles handle pretty well too. The equipment can lead to some actual strategy like using the RC car to scout ahead or setting up a barrier to protect yourself during a firefight. You could jump off a building using the wingsuit. Wait, no, not like that. And there's something so rewarding about injuring a guy then rushing at him to finish him off at close range. No survivors allowed. Blackout is an incredible addition which helps make this one of the more interesting COD games in a long ass time. So to sum it up, Black Ops 4 for the most part is yet another Call of Duty game. Wow, I'm so shocked! But despite that, Blackout has turned out to be an incredibly fun game mode. It may have some slight issues as of now, but even looking past those, it's still a very different experience compared to other games of the same genre. I'm sure that the longer I play it, the more experience and fondness I'll have for the game. But however, the question is, can Blackout actually succeed the king of Battle Royale games, that is Fortnite? Now, while I think Blackout does do some stuff better than Fortnite does, it also works vice versa. They're honestly both completely different types of games. Sadly though, Fortnite does have the advantage over Blackout seeing as it's free, but you can't underestimate Call of Duty seeing as it is the 4th best selling game franchise of all time. So if anyone can tackle the sheer size of a game like Fortnite, then it'll be none other than Call of Duty itself. We'll really just have to see how these two compete within the next couple of months, because honestly, who knows what could happen? The game industry is full of surprises after all. Again, I'll potentially re-explore this topic once it is settled. These are just my first few thoughts about the game. It's fun, it's easy to play, but it does have problems. But do let me know if you guys would like to see me explore this topic once again in the future. Or we could just play Fortnite like good kids. Hey, shut up you stupid kids! Hey, thanks for watching! If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Feel free to comment your thoughts and perhaps check out some of my other videos. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, join my Discord, the links are below. And with that, I'll see you later boys.